So just about 6 months ago now, I upgraded my computer to the M4 Max MacBook Pro.
I can probably count on one hand how many days I haven't used it since I bought it.
But I would definitely need more than one hand to count the price of this machine.
The full specs I got are the 16-inch with nano texture, the 16-core CPU, 40-core GPU M4 Max with 64 gigs of RAM and a 2TB SSD.
And yeah, I will be talking about those choices because they were definitely some choices.
A lot of things that originally impressed me continue to, but some other cons or nitpicks really did come up. So I'll go over how exactly I've been using it, especially as a video editor and creator.
And at the very end, I'll go into, if I were to snap my fingers back in time, what machine I would actually buy for my work, because I'm not actually sure if it would be this one. And also go over what my plans actually are with this device moving forward. A huge overarching goal I had with this purchase was future-proofing, and that's a theme that's going to come up quite a lot in this video. So I made the not very justifiable decision to buy something that exceeds what I need it to do so I can grow into it as I grow into my career. And I'm actually gonna unplug it to kind of do like a battery test throughout the day, which is also gonna include a bit of editing later in this video. And that editing will also serve as a performance test. I'm killing two birds with one stone here. That's actually, that is a brutal saying. Sorry, vegans. Now this laptop costs $4,750, but what it costs wasn't what it costed me. So towards the end, when I go over what I would have bought, yes, it's scary holding the laptop like this, but I'll also be mentioning what I did to bring the price down from my wallet is crying to my wallet just has a mere tear in its eye. So what have I actually been using the M4 Max for the most? Well, I can say that I don't think I'm using it to the max. Get it? Because it's like the M4 Max and then like maximum, and it's also a Mac. Okay, I'll leave. I'll just do it myself. I'll leave. So I mean, I've been using it for specific tasks like scripting, researching, making thumbnails, of course, video editing, even things like uploading my videos and torturing myself to respond to all of your comments. This is a creation beast when it comes to anything productivity related. But I mean, let's just be realistic here. What M4, or I mean, even any M series MacBook chip isn't, especially since I drastically went from the lowest end M1 Pro to the highest end M4 Max. I really don't know where the line is of what I actually just need to get what I need to do done. But I can say for certain that wherever that line is, this clearly exceeds it. And it almost just feels like I'm not even using what I paid for. It's like ordering the finest steak meal, only eating the side of potatoes and then throwing the rest away. And that kind of hurts my soul. And my wallet is giving me the side eye right now. Don't look at me like that. Like I've said before, I love this laptop, but even with my finesse to lower the price as much as possible, I'm just not sure I love the price I paid. But now it is time to put it to the test. I'm gonna be editing up this video here that I recorded yesterday. And then after that, I'll do a little post-editing interview talking about the performance and checking in with the battery life. It's more challenging to find something to complain about than it is to actually do the editing here. And after the about 45 minutes of editing, we're on 80% battery, which I think is pretty good. So the only thing missing here was lag. Now, granted, this isn't the most finished project at the moment, so I'm gonna be opening one that is finished. Now, this was one of my videos, I think my longest one so far, and I can skim through it and it is instant feedback. 2x speed, 3x speed, 4x speed. There's not a single dropped frame. This is all on the better quality mode, which is full playback. And that is exactly what I mean when I say that the M4 Max is a luxury. Like it's putting a genuine human smile onto my face with how good editing playback is. I have no friends. We can see here there's, what is that, 6 different adjustments. And on top of that, I recorded it in log. So there's a color space transform. So I can turn that on and then also turn on all the effects again. I mean, this is in Final Cut, but I've done just as advanced or maybe even more advanced color grades in DaVinci Resolve. And it's the same result, absolutely no lag. And I mean, this is the stuff that I just care about so much more than render speeds, because this is what you're gonna be spending most of your time on when you're working on an edit. You're gonna be in the timeline, not watching a render bar. So that's cool, but that's also why I don't think I actually need the Max. I think the biggest difference between the Max and like the M4 Pro are the render speeds, and everything else is kind of the same. So that's the part I care about the least. But don't get me wrong, the render speeds on this are absolutely insane. And again, this is my biggest video yet, so I'm gonna render this out right now as we speak. We're under a minute in and it's at 12%. And for like all recent MacBooks, it's not just the power that makes it good, it's also things like the ports. Having an SD card reader is very convenient, and as well as HDMI, I'm always plugging this into a monitor. But with like all these ports, I find that like 90% of the time, I don't need any kind of adapter, especially because a lot of things now are USB-C. Now, before I go into my cons, or I mean, really just nitpicks, I'm gonna kind of hit on some of the things that when I was watching reviews before I bought this, I saw a lot of people complain about versus what it's actually like in real life. And I'm not sure if you can actually hear this, but one of the biggest ones people mentioned was fan noise. And yes, compared to my original M1 Pro, which never had any fan noise, I don't think I ever heard it once. This does have some fan noise, but the only time I've ever heard it, or currently hear it, is when I'm rendering a video. You know, like I said, this is like a portable desktop with, you know, the power, the RAM, the graphics, and also the fans. Like to me, it's just like such a non-issue. Like it just means my laptop is working properly. It's a powerful laptop, so yeah, naturally it's gonna need some cooling. I'm gonna get really close to it. Can you even hear it? We're at 70% on the render, 71 now. I just flipped it into high power mode. Usually that gets the fans to kick up a little more. Yep, but like even then, it's not ear piercing, it's just fan noise. Like if you're coming from Windows, you're already used to that. So it took 21% battery and about 16 minutes. And just because I started this on automatic power and not high power, I'll throw up on screen right now a time lapse of re-rendering this completely on high power. It's fast. That surprises nobody. And being able to edit with the 16-inch screen is so nice. You have a bigger preview, more room on your timeline, and probably my second favorite upgrade I got was actually the nano texture. And that's not just because it comes with Apple's $20 microfiber cloth, but it's because in this room there's a lot of natural light, and not having to look at the reflection on your screen just feels a lot nicer on your good old eyeballs. And what also comes with the 16-inch is the absolutely massive trackpad, which, fun fact, is also pretty much the same size as the separate Magic trackpad. And as of right now, 10 out of 10 times, I will pay the extra $300 to get the 2 extra inches on the screen. One of the other things that I heard in a lot of reviews is because the M4 Max has more power, it's gonna burn through battery faster than something like the M4 Pro. So after having my laptop open, reading notes off of it, the edit session, and then the rendering, the battery's down to 56%. I don't know, to me, this is still really good battery life. In the past 6 months, I've only put on about 30 cycles. And I think that's due to the fact that whenever I use it, it's for 2 or 3 hours. So the battery isn't going from 100 to 0, it's going from like 100 to 75. So it takes 4 work sessions like that just to add up to 1 cycle. And the battery health is still at 100%, which I like to see. And something kind of related to battery that I've never heard mentioned in a review is when you're charging it, the charger doesn't have a grounding pin. So when you plug it in, sometimes I get like static feedback in my earbuds. But I mean, when it does come up, I just usually deal with it. It's just kind of lame having to buy something else. Like I draw the line at a $4,700 laptop. 30 bucks for an adapter is too much. But if nano texture was my second favorite upgrade, my first favorite was the internal SSD.
And with some of my videos having hundreds of gigabytes of footage, it's incredibly convenient to not have an SSD hanging off my laptop wherever I go, and also being able to store multiple videos of mine internally at once.
So, you know, deciding to shell out for the not overpriced and totally reasonable Apple 2 terabyte SSD because I love Apple's fair pricing system was actually worth it. Like this laptop is pretty much perfect. Like I don't even have to pay attention to new releases because what could a laptop have that this one doesn't? And I said pretty much perfect because I do have a few very, very small nitpicks, absolute first world problems, like the color. I would have wished to have space gray, but they actually don't offer it anymore. So I went with silver. I think the space black or whatever they call it looks really, really good, but I've seen it chip off a little bit and it wears down. I plan on keeping this for years and years and years, so I would prefer it to look as good as possible. And again, I love the screen, but the 16-inch nano texture has two small problems. Only one actually has to do with the screen itself. One is the contrast. When I'm color grading, sometimes the blacks look like they're crushed, but on the waveforms and the scopes, it actually has a little bit more room to maneuver. But I'm actually okay with that because if you can make a good image on nano texture, it'll look good on pretty much any screen. And my other nitpick there actually has to do with how deep the keyboard is. Because there's a bigger screen and a bigger trackpad, it's just a little more awkward resting my wrists on it than it was for like the 14-inch. But I'd much rather just deal with that and keep the glorious screen and the massive trackpad. And a slightly bigger nitpick that is not a shocker to anyone. This thing was expensive, dude. Like there's the Mac Mini that you can get for about $500. That's probably the best valued computer on the market as long as you don't want to do any gaming. And the new MacBook Airs you can get on sale for $850. And unfortunately, I feel like that could probably do 80% of my workflow. But this being like 5 times the cost of that, I don't think it's 5 times the value. If I paid the full $4,750 for this, that is not a good price. But just to be clear here, no matter what you pay for this, you're getting a stupid powerful machine. But at the same time, if one little thing goes wrong, I would feel pretty annoyed. And if everything goes right, I feel like I paid the price to deserve that. So if I was able to just go back in time and pick up a different laptop, I would go with the 16-inch M4 Pro. Like I said, I love the nano texture. I would go with that. And you only have one choice for chip and only one choice for RAM. And then for storage, these are my favorite external SSDs. This is 2 terabytes for $130. So that's more storage and like a fourth of the cost. And as someone who lives with it, and I know how convenient it actually is to have it just inside your laptop, I actually think it's worth it. And that kind of hurts to say. And I think that kind of goes to show that the best part of my M4 Max has nothing to do with the M4 Max. It's the upgrade in storage, it's the upgrade in RAM, it's the screen size, it's the nano texture. And I mean, saving that extra money, I can get things like an anamorphic lens or one of those lights with the projection filters, or even $1,500 Cartier frames, like all things that can really help improve my videos in other places. And I mean, the Cartier frames would make people think I'm a lot cooler than I am, so they'd probably subscribe. But like I've been saying, I did not pay the $4,750 that this laptop costs. A few of the things I did is, well, one, take off $715 for trading in my old MacBook, which was, I think, a very fair price, especially for how easy it was. And something I noticed and, have no further comment on is the education discounts. If you order online, they don't ask for any kind of education credentials. I'm a student of life, okay? And if you go to Apple Certified Refurbished, you can get some pretty good deals, and you know what you're getting is pretty much brand new because it's Apple certified. And also looking at other places than just apple.com. Like over on Best Buy, here's 16-inch Max 48 gigs and a terabyte SSD for $3,600. And here's the same thing on Amazon for $50 cheaper. And the next thing I did to break up the payments is get the Apple credit card. Now, I don't recommend this if you can't afford it in full, but if you do use this to pay, you get 3% cash back, which ended up being like $120, which covered my Apple Care just about. And it breaks it down into 12 zero interest payments. And it sounds cool. Apparently it's titanium.
Much like my current phone, which is still the iPhone 11, I plan to use this until it stops working. Apple products last if you take care of them, so my usual not super clumsiness mixed with my Apple Care subscription should carry me there. So I definitely don't regret buying this, and it's super nice to only have to focus on what's most important and the real reason I bought it, to be able to create with no limits.
So after all of that editing, the rendering, and multiple screen recordings, we are down to 47% battery. So my plans moving forward, I'm not selling it, I'm not getting rid of it, and I'm definitely not upgrading from it. The M5, it's gonna come out, I'm sure it's gonna be great, I'm sure it's gonna be slightly better, but unless that thing can tuck me into bed at night, I'm rocking with my M4 Max until it dies. On this channel, I document my creative lifestyle, which includes tech, so if you wanna see more of that, feel free to subscribe, and thank you for watching.